That's really good.
Hi, my name is Louis. Background sound is Frida. Eating my soup right now, trying to make this as natural and as comfortable as possible for me. I have a hard time talking on videos. I have a hard time expressing myself, so I'm trying to make it as natural as possible. Frida is also in the apartment with me, so occasionally you might hear some hustle and bustle going around, sound effects, or I might ask her an opinion and she might answer it. She's not going to reveal herself in the camera though. That's her choice. But anyways, I'm going to be doing these videos and it's going to be about who I am as I grow, who the person I became by the lessons that I've learned in my life. I just made myself some soup. It's actually really good. Inside joke. Anyways, so the video is going to be more of my personal journey through life and the ups and downs and the struggles that I've had, considering not only who my father is, but also the learning disability that has, what's that word, stagnated me, or followed me along, or kind of hampered me. Stigmatized me. The learning disability that stigmatized me through my life and made things more challenging, and sometimes I find myself even giving up at times, but
I'll keep your ass.
Unfortunately, some people won't allow me to give up. Not mentioning any names, Frida. But anyways, this is me being real, being as natural and being raw, I suppose, without any, without the proper materials. I don't have the proper lighting, of course, you can see. I don't have the proper editing skills or the equipment to make this flawless. This is just who I am, and this is how I live my life. As simple and kind of a minimalist person. I live simple and humbly. I like who I am. I like what I've become. I like the person I became, that is. I like my personality. I'm humorous. I'm somewhat witty, morbid at times, but it's just who I am. My video, I'm going to probably be sharing things like short stories that I've written, things that had an impact on me in my life as I grew up, through high school, junior high school, through a school that was more of a daycare center than an actual educational institute, where I didn't learn how to read. I didn't learn actually how to read until I was 14 or 15, where I had to teach myself how to read. In fact, I didn't know how to read. I thought reading was something that came naturally to you, like talking just comes naturally to you, walking comes naturally to you. These are the things that I thought came natural to you. So I was waiting any day now, I'm going to be able to read, but it didn't come, and I didn't know it was something you had to study or work towards or work at. While at my school, the babysitting institute, I was there until the age of 13, and in that time, I just waited and waited until education struck me, and it didn't. Until my dad decided to send me to Bancroft Junior High School, and in Bancroft, they sent me into an EH program, and EH stands for extra help. Actually, it stands for educationally handicapped, but I had always thought it stood for extra help. But it was only then, when they labeled me learning disabled and educationally handicapped, that I realized I didn't know how to read because I was never taught how to read. So I figured I had to take it upon myself to learn and teach myself to read, and I did. I still struggle with reading. I'm 56 years old. I know I don't look it, but I'm 56 years old, and I still struggle with reading. I still struggle with certain pronunciations. I also have not just a learning disability, I have a speech impairment. I can't hear as adequately as most people do, or I should say as fast as most people do. In other words, the words that are spoken has to translate through my ear to my brain, and the process from one to the other is different than most people. It's a quick process with most people. The words you hear instantaneously. With me, the words I hear is a slow process to get to the brain to decipher what it is that was spoken. And by the time it's deciphering, even if it's just a fraction of a second, it's still that much longer than what most people hear, that by the time the next word is uttered, I'm still translating the first word. And that's how I was when I grew up. So I have a bad pronunciation of certain words. I have to think about what words I'm going to be using. I write so much more fluently than I do when I'm speaking, because I'm writing is something I could think about in a slow process, whereas thinking is on the spot. And so I usually don't speak a lot around people, especially strangers that I don't know. I'm uncomfortable with it. I keep trying to teach myself how to look into the camera above, but I always look at the screen. Don't call it an ego. It's not that I'm not narcissistic and I need to look at myself. I just need to look at something. But I have to focus on this camera. Anyways, soup's getting cold. Should eat some. It's actually really good. First time I made soup. Not that bad. I'm a vegetarian, so it's a tofurkey meat inside with macaroni and vegetables. That part's going to be edited out probably. Anyways, I don't have all the necessities to make a perfect video, but that's the purpose of this video, is to see myself grow as a YouTuber. To see myself not just grow as a YouTuber, but to see myself grow as a person who struggles through many things. I've never had a real decent job. I've always been a server at a restaurant for over 20 years. I know how to be a server. I don't know how to sell myself, so it's hard for me to get a job sometimes because I'm not the most confident. I don't have the most confidence in myself personally. I never put myself on a pedestal. I speak sometimes real fast because I'm eager to get the conversation over and done with, or to get the sentence out as quick as possible. So this YouTuber is going to teach me, or this YouTube channel is going to teach me to be more patient, not just with myself, but with the way I pronounce words, the way I present myself. I've never fully focused on how to present myself. I just am who I am. But as this YouTube channel grows, at least I kind of hope it does, I could rewatch and see what I did wrong. I could read the comments and be critiqued harshly or politely by them. It doesn't matter to me. I don't take anything personal. If it's an attack on me, it is what it is. If it's criticism that's meant for me to grow or become a better person, I will take it in account. I'm emotionally detached from a lot of things. That's the way I grew up. Living in my house, I was detached to my family, from feelings, from a lot. I'm a foster child to start off with. So I never found myself grounded in any family that I came from. From the age of 1 to 5, the age of 1 to 5, I was moving from one house, one family after another. So I never found myself really grounded until I came to the house I lived in later on, in the one I was raised in. And even there, I didn't really have a very structural family, so I never found myself bounded to it or bonded to it or attached to it in any normal way. So I'm trying to figure out how it's going with this, but I'm detached, so it's hard for me to sometimes communicate with people. and to reach out and get to know people. I'm usually isolated. It's a preference. It's a choice. And I love writing. I stay home usually and whatever. But I became a server at a restaurant so I could learn to mingle with people, learn to communicate with people, and learn to open up with people. That's how I became a server. Also, as a server, you are not yourself. You are a server, which means I'm not presenting myself to a guest. I'm presenting my job, who I have, and what I'm hired to do to a guest, and that's a different, and that is comforting to me. It's like wearing a disguise in public, and that's comforting to me. But the problem is getting a job, and I never can sell myself. I'm not good in interviews because I don't have the confidence. I don't have the assurance that I know what I'm doing or talking about. I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know what it is that I don't see that I would be the best person they would hire, even though I may be. I just don't always see it. And unfortunately that translates to them, and therefore they might not hire me because they don't see the best candidate. So anyways, that's the struggles that I have as a learning disability person. It's communication, hearing deficiency, and my lack of connecting to people. I'm writing a book currently. The book, though, could go in two different directions. There is one direction that is an obvious direction, and that's the direction I'm not going. That direction is who my father is. Now, my father is a record producer. A lot of people who are tuning into this, and the reason why they're tuning into this is because they already know who I am, and so they know who my father is.
Like,
or who my father was. No, he still is.
okay.
Or who my father is. So that story of my life is going to be in the book, but it's not the focus. It's not who I am. I am not my father's son. In a way I am, yes, but I am not the product of my father's son. I am not, my struggles aren't just from what happened at the house and whatever. I want to focus more on learning disability. So the book is not really going to go into sensationalism. It's not going to focus on my father, who is Phil Spector, the record producer. It's not going to focus on how he worked with in the music business, how he worked with the Beatles, the Ramones. It's not going to go into that. It might be on the surface. I might touch it on the surface of it because it's hard to write a book about your father and not mention the little things or the big things that had an impact on me. But I'm not going into what impacted him. I'm not going to go into his life story. I'm not going to go into the mechanics of being a record producer or all the celebrities I met, because I really didn't meet any. Surprisingly, I was raised in Beverly Hills, and my father, being Phil Spector, who is connected to a lot of people, or should have been connected to a lot of people in the music business, was not. And I hardly met anyone. I did meet John Lennon, though, but I didn't know who he was when I met him. I was 5 or 6 years old when I met him, came to the house, and to me, he just looked like a hippie with long hair who was just strolling by in the house. Probably a stranger that was just dropped in from off the streets. I met Sean Cassidy. I didn't know who he was at the time because I was a Hardy Boy fan. And I met the Ramones, but I didn't know or really like their music. I mean, I do like their music now. Don't get me wrong. Don't critique me for not having an appreciation of good music. They have excellent songs. I grew to appreciate them. But when I met them, I was 13 years old, 14 years old, or something like that. And I didn't know anything about rock and roll much, or really a fully understanding of it. I was trying to learn about life at that time. I was learning about myself at that time. I was learning to read at that time. So I was focused on other things other than music. So I didn't know the ins and outs of the music business, and I'd never heard of the Ramones until my dad worked with them. My dad always thought I was brain damaged, and he treated me as such. He didn't think there was potential in me. He didn't think there was any point in investing in an education in me, so he sent me to a special school, and where I didn't learn how to read. So anyways, I know this is getting longer than I expected it to, but this video is this channel, I'm going to try to go over some stories that I've written, go over some things that affected me in life, and hopefully maybe someone might learn from it, someone might get a different perspective on how to look at things, or maybe this is just a personal video for myself to see myself grow and become a better YouTube channel. And maybe this might help me in public when I'm talking to strangers off the streets. And it's possible that this channel might not go anywhere. It's possible my book might not go anywhere. But again, those aren't my goals. I'm not looking where I'm going. I'm not looking at the pathway down the road. I'm just looking at what's in front of me. I focus on what's in front of me. Where it takes me, I don't know. But I don't always focus ahead of me, and that sometimes gets me in trouble. But I just do what I do when I do it. And where it leads me, it leads me. And if it doesn't lead me anywhere, I enjoy doing what I did. I've been writing a book for over 2 years now. I had actually started writing this book. Well, I would like to say I started it in 1984 with little segments, little short stories while I was teaching myself how to write. But then in 2007, when my dad went to trial, or a few years after, when he went to trial, I started thinking I should actually write a book. I had no title for it, except for maybe Just Visiting or another title sort of similar to that. And I've collaborated with my brothers to get this book together, but neither one of them really wanted to be a part or involved in it, so I had to do it on my own. But that's when I started it, and I did get an agent and tried to move forward with it, but I never really wrote the book. I wrote the first 2 chapters, and I assumed that's all I needed to write. Just the first 2 chapters, get an agent, and then from there, work with an agent and editors and write my book. It didn't work out that way, and the agent started to focus on sensationalism, started to exaggerate things in my life that never happened. He got me eating with my hands because I was too stupid to use a fork. Never happened. I knew how to use a fork, but he thought that would make, better reading. There were elaborate and extravagant parties at my house with celebrities of who knows, but that also never happened. So I didn't feel comfortable writing about that. So I gave up the writing of the book because it seems like the only way I'm going to get this book published is if I focus on who my father is, and I just didn't want to. I thought my struggle was more important than his struggles. His struggle, he could tell himself. His struggle has been told, has been in movies, has been documented in books. Mine hasn't. The essence of my problems, possibly, have been, of course, by learning disability. I'm not the only one with a learning disability. I'm not the only one who had family issues. I know I'm not the only one. But nonetheless, I am still someone who has it. And I want to show or share with the world my struggle, and hopefully it helps someone else down the line. Someone who might find themselves in a better position than where I found myself in later on. Or maybe this might take me to a better position in my life. I don't know. I'm just doing it because this is what I enjoy doing. Well, I enjoy sharing. The video thing is new to me, and I'm not really comfortable. Not sure what I should be talking about or saying. I had a script originally, but it comes off unnaturally. I mean, this is how it started. This is my script. It said, short stories, personal growth, insight into a mind of an uneducated man. That's me. My name is Louis Spector, and I'm 56 years old. On this YouTube channel, I'll be sharing short stories, personal opinions, reflections of days gone by, and of course, what it was like being raised by my father, record producer Phil Spector. The purpose of my channel is for two reasons, one being a personal growth, while the other connecting to a world beyond my comfort zone. But the problem with reading a script is I'm not focused on you guys. I'm focused on a piece of paper, and it's not coming out naturally. And rewatching this, I can see it's not really all that entertaining. In fact, I don't even know if I'm entertaining. I'm going to be watching this video and seeing if I talk too fast, if I talk too slow, if I jump from one topic to another topic suddenly, if there's nothing really entertaining for you guys to watch, or if you guys are going to be as bored as I might be after watching this video. I don't know. So this is the first video, and from this video, I suppose it's only upward. I can't imagine it going any further down than this. So this is my first video, and from here, I'll see where it takes me. Anyways, till the next video, this is Lewis signing out until I get a better sign out phrase. That's going to be the one I have. Now I'm going to go finish my soup, and I'll speak to you the next time. Take care.